I don't mind shooting this video right now. Just about 4 seconds ago, I was just talking to my boss on the phone. You remember when I went down the road with a truck last night? Well, in the future, this video will get old, right? But you're not gonna know it. You probably, it's like if you recently saw the one I did the last 2 times. Alright, I just shot one with me putting a temporary tag because Van Hilden said that it's supposed to be on the lower right corner. I guess you win that fight that time, so I guess I did it. It did look good up front, but it looked kind of strange being, having a temporary tag up front, so I guess I put it right there. So that was the last video. The one before that, when I was coming back to the yard at night with this truck, with this Volvo. And yeah, I did scratch a few gears because I don't have a problem floating gears, Van Hilden. I don't have a problem floating gears. I did drive a 13 speed in 2012, late 2012, between November and December 2012. I was driving this guy's Freightliner, what do you call it, Columbia. I was driving a Freightliner Columbia, a red one, and it was the same exact transmission. I've floated gears with that one without scratching. It's just taking a while for me to catch up because I've been sticking to a automatic most of the times, and now I started driving a 10 speed for a while. That one was pretty easy, so it's taking me a while to catch up. FFE's truck, as in Frozen Food Express in Lancaster, Texas, I think they had an 18 speed, because when you go over to the left and down, when you turn the splitter up and you go over left and down, that's when you start using the red range selector. But on the 13 speed, instead of going all the way over here for 6th gear, you come up here and then go downwards and then go up. That's what's strange about it. But I can get the hang of it real easy. It's just that was my first time driving it. That's why. Scratch them and grind them, nah, I don't have to do that. That's just for me to start out, because it's been what, 14 years since I haven't driven a 13 speed. But anyways, let me get back to the subject. Yeah, my boss just cussed at me because he said, take the fucking sign off. You don't have any idea what this can get us into because you don't have the right insurance for it. Yeah, I agree. Later on, I had to explain to him that the reason why I took a chance late after hours is because I didn't think any cops was out there. So that's why I did it. So he said, okay. So now he knows I'm using common sense. It's true, I didn't tell him that ahead of time. When I started texting him, he started jumping out of his skin, getting all nervous. I don't blame him. So the thing is, there was nothing real going on out on the road. So I told him, he didn't have to worry about it because, there ain't no cops out there, so I was okay. There's no cops out there, so I was okay. So, yeah, I told him about it, and he said, I need to take the signs off of the logo off the sign, not the sign, the logo and the sticker off the side of the truck with the company's name on it. So I told him when the mechanic gets back to the shop, if I could get a heater gun. It's one of them special heater guns. They're usually red and silver. It looks like a hair dryer, a blow dryer, like what women use to heat up their hair, put curls in their head. Right. Well, this heater gun is used in body shops most of the time, like what I used to use. So it's like when we need to remove the logo off the side of a vehicle, like a car, like an advertisement commercial vehicle, we use a heater gun and we go sideways with it real slow, and we heat the entire sign or the sticker, and then we slowly pull it off, and then pull it up, rest and then pull it off, something like that. I was fixing to use, what the hell is it? Yeah, I did have it. I had that brand new tape. It's duct tape, the color masking tape. but I don't have it on this truck. You see, I was busy trying to remove that sign and put it back up here. So yeah, it fits perfect and look perfect. Put some plastic Reynolds wrap over it just to protect it, because the ink or the black letters and numbers, you could rub it off on your finger. As soon as you touch it, you can rub it off with your finger and erase it. So that's why I protect it. Anyway, what I'm fixing to do, I'm gonna wait for the mechanic to show up. It's friggin' cold out here today, man. It's like, I feel like 50 degrees. I gotta wait for the mechanic to show up at the shop. I did try to put air in it last night, but you know, they gotta use one of them guns that you hold with two hands, and you shove it into the lip right there, and you pop some air. You would throw like 30 or 50 pounds of air into it, and it would inflate just like that. It ain't gonna inflate all the way, but it would just pop some air into it, and then the rest of the way you gotta manually put air in it. I even hooked up one of my blue air hose up to that and hooked it up to the other truck, and it was pumping air into it, but it ain't gonna work that way. I gotta use a special gun or something to throw some air in it. After that, go ahead and I'm not thinking of driving this thing in the daytime. I'm driving it at night, late after hours. If I have to drive it in the day, maybe once in a while, but I'm driving it at night. So the kind of insurance I got for this truck is non-commercial, actually non-trucking insurance, because this one is not in business. So yes, I see where my boss is coming from. Not just taking the sign off, putting tape over it ain't good enough, because it looks stand out. It's better if it looks all black, like, you know, like it's not meant for nothing. They were saying I don't have to take the DOT number off. I will take it off. I don't have a choice, because it's gonna throw signals anyway. It's gonna throw signals at law enforcement, so I might as well take it off. They might see, yeah, I do stand out. I'm probably not the only truck driver. The only time they drive a commercial vehicle this size, like a full-size heavy, that they call them heavy-duty commercial vehicle, as in full-size semi-truck, tractor-trailer. The only time they drive these things around with no logo and no DOT, no MC number, no LLC or anything, no authority. The only time when they drive it blank is like when you're transporting it from the dealership to the truck terminal, because I did that with FFE one time back in Lancaster, Texas, in what was it, 2003. They had the new 2004s coming out, and me and this other guy got paid $50 for driving. We're kind of driving next to each other in this one old truck, in one of them LTL trucks, and we drove to the other side of town, and we started grabbing brand new 2004 Freightliner Centuries, and we were stacking them up in the terminal. Me and him was the only ones that were doing that at the time. So they paid us $50, you know, just to go out there and do it. So they were pretty cheap back then. So when we was bringing them back, they didn't have no logos. As a matter of fact, did they have? They probably did. I don't remember. We were bringing them from the dealership to the truck terminal, to my company's truck terminal. And then after that, as soon as I went upstairs and talked to Bob Fisher, I said, hey, listen, I've been in truck 10060 for so long, and it's getting old. Do you think I could get one of them new ones? And he said, give me 30 minutes. I'll see what I can find. If I could get one of them brand new 2004s, and I did get it. It was a truck 140, what was it? 14049, I think it was 14049. But the thing is, at least I did the right thing. I didn't go out there in the daytime. So when I told my boss that, I went after hours because I don't feel, I feel too exposed driving this truck anyway. Then that's when he relaxed and he said, all right, I think I got the idea. So it's like, I might have the engine running right now, but I still want to brush up on a couple of minor things on this truck. So far, I don't have a problem moving this truck around. It's easy to float, the gears all right. It's just I can't remember the sequence of the last 13 speed I drove. That's why. Because this is my second time driving the same exact thing. Not the same truck, the same transmission. This is my second time in my life, and it's been 14 years ago. So the truck, the way it handles, it feels a little bit too soft and spongy. The steering wheel is easy to turn. I just don't like it. Got that mushy, you know what I'm saying? It got that mushy, soft, side to side feel. I don't really like it like that, because if you gotta turn corners, I'm thinking, you might not have that stability. I don't know if the suspension is all that bad, but one thing I noticed, the second thing I noticed, it bounces up and down a lot. The front end, it bounces like a Beamer or a limousine or something. I don't know where that came from. I never drove no truck like that before. No, it's nice. The suspension feels kind of soft and bouncy. I don't know why that happens, but I guess I got a lot to learn about certain trucks. This is the first time I ever drove a semi that can actually bounce up and down like that. But what else? The acceleration, yes, it fades out. Like in each gear, it doesn't complete the RPM I wanted to go. That, I think I ran into that problem with that brand new truck that FFE gave to me the second time. That brand new truck, that brand new Freightliner Century. It was a 10 speed, I remember. One time the speed sensors got defective. Whenever I accelerate in one gear, it fades out at 1400 RPM. And then when you gotta hurry up and go into the next gear, and then it fades out at 1400. So, this way you climb speed faster so you don't slow down traffic. I think this thing got a defective speed sensor also, because I got some kind of minor background experience, knowing about that. It's supposed to go out past 1500 RPM and up. It's supposed to go close to 20. It didn't do that. You could climb speeds faster as a normal vehicle, but it's not doing it the way I want it to. It's not going to stay in gear. Like if I stay in one gear, it's just going to stay probably 14 or 1500 RPM. It's not going to go past it. Today's Saturday. Last night and yesterday I spent all day doing my boss a favor, trying to recover those trailers with my company truck. With that black Kenworth I was driving. And I was trying to squeeze some time for this truck. So that's the reason why I told him it was late after hours and I wanted to drive my truck and put fuel in it. I wanted to drive my truck and put fuel in it. I said, I hope you understand. I am using the company's fuel card to put fuel in my personal truck. I said, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back the money I owe. He didn't complain about that part. He swerved away from it real quick. He was more worried about the logo being on the side of the truck. And he said, I even said, yeah, I got it. I apologize, because it can lead to all kinds of things. It can lead to your address and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I don't have the right insurance. Nobody's not really gonna pay attention that easy. The cops, if a police car pulls up next to it, they ain't gonna notice it. But in case if I was speeding or, you know, run a red light or whatever, if I get pulled over by, like, if I get cited in front of a police car, then his dash cam is gonna pick it up, so he has to do his job without getting fired. So there you have it. That's how you're gonna find out if I land on a state trooper. If you land on a city cop, maybe it won't matter. But the thing is, at least I thought smart. I didn't just go out there in the daytime. Most of the times, I ain't really gonna drive this thing in the day. I can do it, but I don't feel like it. So, anyway, he said I could try it with my finger. You know, my fingernail's kind of short. He said I could try to pull it off with my finger. He said if I use a razor, I'm gonna mess up the paint anyway. But I said I got a better idea, because I got some body shop experience from a long time ago. I could use a heater gun and try to take it off. So I guess I'll go ahead and wait. I'll wait for the mechanic to show up today. What I want to do is I want to go back to the fairing. I noticed that one of the frame brackets kind of twisted a little bit off. I looked on both sides, and the bracket on this one is a little bit different. This one is even. That's the reason why the fairing, you know, the side panel could fall off and come back on real easy. But on this one, the back side is like flopping. I can't get it to latch. So, what else I gotta do? I had something else in mind. But I forgot. Yes. As a matter of fact, something does make sense. Let me take the logos off first, and then I'm a bobtail to what do you call it? Yeah, they got a nearby they got a Kenworth truck dealership. They said they accept Volvos and Freightliners also. They work on Volvos and Freightliners. They just can't order parts directly to them if you don't have the part number or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and have the logos taken off. I might have to drive in the daytime. I'm gonna take this truck and get a diagnostic test. I might not get it done today. I'm gonna have to call them first. It's like it's something like oh, it just became 8 a.m. Yeah, the dealership probably wasn't open yet anyway. It's just 8 o'clock. So yeah, the dealership wasn't open. I'm gonna go ahead and call them and see if I could fit in for a diagnostic check. I'm gonna tell them a couple of problems. The speedometer's not working, the horn doesn't work. It's burning oil through the exhaust. I could see it in the mirror. I could see the vapors coming out like 200 feet behind me last night. I could see a gray fog right behind me. It didn't look bright blue like the rest of them. It just looked kind of gray, like light gray, you know, like fog color. Right now, you know, when the vehicles were coming up behind me, I saw that. And I even saw it coming out the engine as well. It didn't look heavy and dangerous, but you could see some light vapors coming up in front of the windshield. So I don't know. I hope it ain't serious. And on both sides of the engine at the top, like the exhaust manifold, can't be the intake. The exhaust manifold, I think, is on this side. I can see oil coming out through the gasket. I mean, dried up. And on this side, there's oil coming out right below the crankcase breather, and somewhere near the air pump and the, what do you call it, the power steering. There's oil all over that. And just behind this truck, where that orange truck, which is for sale, the spot where this truck was at, yeah, there's kind of heavy oil on the floor. Not too heavy, but yeah, it's like dripping oil. So I need a lot of gaskets replaced on the engine. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take it for a diagnostic test. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get it done. They might be backed up. I might or I might not. I don't know. But anyways, let me just cut right now. Let me just try and figure out what else I gotta do to this truck. To tell you the truth, I'm sorry it turns out this way, but I have to start somewhere. It ain't such a bad start spending, like in the truck flyer. They sell these old trucks for 15 grand. It usually costs. I mean, you could go as far back as 2011, 2012, 2018, no, not 18, 2016, 15, 14 models, not just Volvos. I'm talking about Freightliners, Internationals. They usually run around 15 grand, right? It's famous now. That's the way it is nowadays. If you need an easy way out, grab one. We don't care what condition it's in. We don't care if the engine, well, 15 grand is not really worth it if you got a blown engine. Like, it's the cylinder head gasket's leaking, you could bring it down to 12, maybe 15, I don't know. Now, if you got a broken engine, like busted connecting rod, piston slapping up and down, that's only gonna last for like a few minutes, because I experienced that one time. It's just gonna last for a few minutes, and after that, when you try to crank the engine over, it's not gonna start. It's ready for overhaul. That's what it is. Like the other twin, just like this one, the mechanic told me that the other guy that was driving that truck, the other one that was sitting next to this one, he said that he let the oil dry out on the truck and the engine broke. So when you hear that flapping around, you hear that flapping inside the engine, that's the piston, that's one of the pistons flopping loose up and down inside the cylinder. And the connecting rod is probably just spinning around, knocking up against parts. That's not supposed to be happening. So now you're stuck with 5 cylinders instead of 6. You got 5 cylinders, you got 5 pistons working, and the 6th piston, whichever one that is just flopping loose. That happens to any car or any semi. So that's if you don't put oil in it on time, if you let it dry out. So any truck like that is not worth nothing. If it's like in one piece, but it's got a lot of worn parts, it's got a defect here and there, yeah, maybe it's worth 15 grand. But don't just buy the thing and just lickety split hit the highway thinking that you're all safe. You might even change an alternator here and a starter there, maybe whatever you don't like. I don't know. Just because you bought it for 15 grand and then you drive it, oh, it moves. Oh, I can pull a trailer, all right. I even went from here to Indiana and nothing didn't happen. Wrong. It's gonna break down on you pretty soon, very, very soon, because the previous driver that once owned it, his driving habits are different from yours. The engine and the rest of the truck, it has to adjust to your driving habits. It's not going to. It's used to the other driver's driving habits, so when it tries to adjust to yours, it just goes in another direction. You see what I'm saying? That's another way you can break down much faster. Like how this one is, I see it. Yes, the shifting is kind of smooth and very flexible. The clutch is not so bad. Of course you can't tell because there's no trailer on it. Well, I can't do nothing about that, but I will change it. I'll ask them to check it. I'll ask them to check it first. And the smoke coming out, the vapors coming out the engine and in back of me on the highway, that, well, Van Hilden said it might not be serious. I guess you're right about that. But in my case, I don't feel like touching no freight with this truck. I don't feel like being under authority with this truck. I'm not saying that I'm going to keep it forever as a car. No, it's not going to stay like that. It's going to be like this maybe for a couple of months, because I got to build up my credit and try to borrow some money and add it on to my company pay. I do not want to go owner-operator with this truck yet. I like the truck. In its condition, it's not so bad, but it is reasonable, and it's reasonably intact. It is intact. I know it can pull some freight here and there, maybe a couple of thousand miles, but I don't want to do it. I don't feel comfortable in the condition it's in. All right, I gotta pull. I'll check y'all later.